Thank you, Hannah. She said we look pretty, though. Hello?
Hello.
Thank you, Hannah. Check when you can hear us.
Tell me when you can hear me.
Check. Are we good?
Hey, okay. I was starting to break out my We Shall
We're
Behold
back.
Him sign language.
Well, thank y'all for joining us. For Love for Music City Live, hashtag Girl Sessions, and hopefully you can hear us now.
Yay.
And we're glad to be here. Today we're going to be talking about the Serenity Prayer. So if you have any comments on that, things you've gone through that you've had to accept, any comments, there's already been a question out there, and we've had some great comments already.
Yes.
But just interact with us today. That's what this is all about, is just communicating with each other, and all of us ladies and men. We have some men that watch.
And we had your husband on last week
Yes.
filling in for you.
He
so
fills
clearly.
in. And I see those, watchers go up. All those ladies get on there. Oh, Weston's on. And so I'm glad you like my husband. I like him too. But we're so glad we're here. We're glad that y'all keep tuning in, and we keep going.
Amen.
Yes.
We're going to keep going as long as you're tuning in.
Yes.
But right now, why don't you share and like and put hashtag Girl Sessions. You will have a chance to win. But also, when we want more people to join our community and start watching, and we're hoping to get more and more people to comment and get a gist of what we talk about. I think what we talk about are good comments, and we give away good prizes, really good prizes. And I'm going to pass it over to Shanda and let you talk about some of the winners of the gift from last week.
So last week we gave away, I believe we have a picture of it. It is a backpack and lunchbox and a whole bunch of school supplies. And so I guess today we have our winner.
We do.
And what is her name? I'm assuming it's a her. Where's she at? Oh, Kay Wallace. Wallace. So somebody tag her.
Yeah, tag Kay Wallace.
Let her know. Inbox us your address, and we will send you your prize. And thank you for liking and sharing.
Yeah.
Are you? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still on, aren't I? Can you hear me good?
Okay. Good.
Okay.
All right.
So I just want to give a shout out to a few people who are watching.
Yes, let's do that.
Jordy just popped on. She filled in for us before.
Yeah, the week before she did a cute little craft.
Thank you so much.
She did. And let's see who else. Steve Fletcher. Hey, Steve. Hey, Mom. My mom's watching. Cynthia Brogdon. Let's see. Vicky Wiley. Virginia Franks, one of our faithful viewers. Thank you for
Trina. Hey, Trina.
There's
Long time no
Deanne
see.
Bailey. I haven't seen her in forever. How you doing?
All right, y'all.
Yeah, we got to
Be doing some liking and some sharing.
Yeah, y'all like and share.
Carolyn.
Let's get our viewers.
All right.
Yeah, and when you hear something that you like, or if you just want to show us some love, hit that heart button or that thumbs up down
Likes
at the
and hearts.
bottom.
They help us.
Yes.
They
Yeah,
help us
they do.
get more viewers.
Why don't we talk a second about who we got coming on next week?
Oh.
Can we do that?
Well,
and then we're going to give away, right? So we're going to show you what we're giving away next week.
And so next week I'm so excited. I have a friend that is going to be on with us. Her name is Scotty Nell Hughes, and if you watch RT News, then you know exactly who she is. She's been on Fox News. She is a big campaigner. Her husband is in politics, and she's a
Beautiful
journalist.
blonde.
Beautiful blonde.
Yeah.
There's her picture there on the screen. And she is going to be giving, sitting in with us, helping us, with our show. And we're going to be talking about moms and balancing career.
Now,
And
don't she have a new book or something?
she has a book. It's
Okay.
called Roar.
Okay.
I'm actually mentioned in the book.
Okay.
So it's a really great book. It's about conservative women.
All right.
And
That's good.
so she'll be here with us next Wednesday, and we'll talk about that some more.
So we're going to be going political next week. Is that what you're saying?
No, we're going to be going political mom,
Okay.
conservative mom. She has to get up and at like 4 a.m. and do these videos, these live tapings and shows. It's just her schedule just blows me away. But she's taking time out to be here with us.
We appreciate that. So we'll look forward to seeing her. And let me
Yes.
just say, vote. Today is August the 5th. Tomorrow is the 6th.
Yep.
So if you are at least in Tennessee, is that across all America or just in Tennessee? Do we even know?
I don't even
Weston
know.
will know.
In Tennessee, we are voting for our local government. So I will say, before the pandemic hit, I never voted like in this kind of election, I didn't care. Other than the president, that's the only time I voted. But now I care because
Yeah.
I have learned that our
It's
local
important.
leaders
Yes.
are more in control or have more to say about our daily life. The
Than you
president
knew.
is like way out there. Yeah. So it is so important. Everybody watching, please, if you're in Middle Tennessee, especially, but please go out and vote. It is our right, and we should be
Yes.
thankful for that right. And it is our civic duty to vote. So get
And don't
out
just
and vote.
vote. Do an informed vote. Like
Right.
find
There you
out
go.
who you're voting for.
As a
and-
young girl, even younger woman, I wasn't big on voting either. I wasn't really taught that in my family. Weston's family's very much a part. Like they know politics, they get into it. So he actually taught me a lot about it's important to vote in every time you can vote, to really research who's in and listen. We have those 8-hour road trips that are full of him listening to politics sometimes, and I'm like,
So you can get an
boy, I
education.
have some
but I
headphones
can't
in.
say I haven't learned some things that have been very beneficial. It's good to know what's going on. I think a lot of people have learned during the pandemic that it's good to know who is in office around you that can help your community. So
Our city councilman,
Mm-hmm.
of course, our mayor, school board.
Right.
Oh my goodness!
it
They
all
have that-
matters.
Yeah.
Yes, it matters.
I
very-
had no idea. I had no
Huge.
idea.
It's huge.
I had
It
no
really
idea.
is. And I have several friends who are very involved in the local politics here. Scotty Nell Hughes, her husband, actually has been an alderman for years here in
Okay,
Hendersonville.
before the pandemic, I did not know what that was. I didn't. I would just act like I did. He's an alternate. Oh, okay, great. You know, like, was
So
that
maybe
mean?
we'll
Farmer?
have an alderman on, and
Yeah,
you know, if you are watching and you are involved in the local politics here in Middle Tennessee, won't you inbox us? We'd love to talk to you
Love
about
to
having
have
you on the show.
Yes. Yes.
So
And then the week after that, don't we already have someone?
we do. Beverly McManus. She's a psychologist
Y'all know her, don't
and
you?
author. She's going to be on here, and we're
So-
going to be talking about you know, abuse and marriage and the different types of abuse and how to identify it. So,
that's in
stay
2
tuned
weeks.
on that. 2
All
weeks.
right.
All right. So we give away things here. We are Love for Music City, #Girl Sessions, if you're just tuning in. And we love to send love to our viewers by giving things away.
Yes, when they like and share.
Yes, when you like and share
Like
and
and
comment
share.
#Girl Sessions. This week you're going to be entered in to win a Serenity Prayer Journal. So
Yes, that's great.
And let me explain a little bit of why we want you to share and grow this thing, because it brings attention to Love for Music City and what they do, Love for Music City Live and what they do. And I've seen a lot of that just since I've been a member of the church. I've seen so much love poured out to orphans, veterans. I'm back there looking at baby clothes that are donated for babies that in need. And this last Wednesday was awesome. To just, I didn't get to go because I was sick. I had to go to the doctor, but I'm watching online and I'm looking at all the pictures and I'm like, I'm so proud to be a part of that church and that organization. And that's what it brings attention to. So if you want to give to Love for Music City Live, there'll be a way. They're going to show that later. And just help be a part by growing what we're doing right here and talking about it, because the more people that know about it, the more people that want to help. They may want to donate to people in need, all those things. We thank you for,
So
if
thank
you
you,
already
thank you.
have donated or you've sent things, we thank you so much for that.
But it's true, just by liking and sharing, you can help. It's
Yeah.
so simple. It's not that big a deal. So,
That's the way
and then, you know, in today's world, you can always delete us if you decide you don't like us or block us. So,
I've had it happen.
yeah, you can be bipolar about it, right?
I've had it
Okay.
happen and not even know.
I know, isn't that the truth?
And when you go and like us, make sure you turn on the notifications so that you know when we post things, when we go live, and you can always be on the know of what's going on. So we are getting ready to go into our topic for today, which is the Serenity Prayer. And we're going to be starting this topic today in this discussion with a short video. And as you watch this video, keep your mind open, and we'll come back and we'll talk about it. So here we go.
Source of all evil.
If there's anything
Just
to
answer
do,
the Lord.
I'm trying really hard. I just can't find it.
Father, of this affliction.
Please.
Yes, in Jesus' name. source of all healing.
If there's anything
Just
I
ask
can
you,
do,
Lord, to fit
I'm trying really hard. I just can't find it.
Father, this affliction.
Please.
And we ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Lord, show me how to pray.
All right. So I don't know about you guys, but I could relate with some of that. You know, in our lives, I don't care if you say you believe in God, whoever your higher power is. Of course, mine is God and my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Right. But everybody prays. Everybody prays, and, you know, I could definitely relate with that lady that said, Lord, please let me lose 5 more pounds. You know, just 5 more pounds.
That's why I joined Weight Watchers.
Oh, yeah,
yesterday.
That's right. Yeah. How's that going? Are you praying a
I'm
lot?
1 day in. So, no, it was easy yesterday, but I know the problem with diets, it gets boring.
True.
It's keeping it, you know, to where you don't get bored and you eat
So
the same
prayer
thing.
will be essential.
Yes.
Lord, please help
Essential.
me.
Lord, please help me lose weight.
Lord,
So can I
please
tell a
not-
quick story about Weight Watchers? Hey, Christy is watching. Hey, Christy.
Hey, Christy.
So me and Rob, when we were dating, he had just started Weight Watchers, okay? And of course, I'm always starving myself, praying, you know, I can lose weight, whatever. So, and I was much smaller back then, BT dubs. But so we go out and eat a lot when you're dating. You go out a lot. So
Especially if you're
I
dating
remember
Rob Tripp.
he has a plate of food, and it was fried chicken, mashed potatoes, corn, and probably like a yeast roll. And he's going on about Weight Watchers and how he loves it and everything. And I'm like, wow. And I said, I don't understand it at all. And he's telling me about the points and everything. And I said, well, like, how many points does this have? And he looks at it. He has a big old piece of bread in his hand. He goes, about 2. I said, and he said, and I'm like, how many points can you have a day? He said, what was it, like 35 or 40, whatever it is. I'm like, oh my Lord, that's the best diet I've ever seen in my life. Well, that is not true. So I have since learned, got my own information.
wish it was true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny how when you
Yes.
get women together, we can
That's
talk.
where I'd be right after this.
You better believe it. Yes.
Yeah, we went from prayer to losing
Right.
weight and Weight Watchers. So,
So don't ask Rob Tripp about your points
Dieting,
count.
yeah, he's not a
For
dieting
a lot of people,
coach.
it is a struggle. It has been mine all my life, but that's okay.
yeah, well, yeah, we'll have to do a whole show on
Yeah.
that one and do like.
Weight Watchers is great. Though,
I've
I
been
think.
up and down and throughout the whole spectrum. So yeah, one point I was, I told her, I said, I'm eating broccoli and egg whites for breakfast. You want to do that? You can look like this.
No,
Not
no.
so fun. So anyway, so prayer is essential. Prayer is a part of our daily lives, and we're talking about the Serenity Prayer today. And if you have never prayed the Serenity Prayer, you're sitting there going, "What is the Serenity Prayer?" We're going to put that up on the screen, and I'm just going to invite us all, as it goes up on the screen, to see together that we can in one, one vein here,
Understand
so
what we're
everybody
talking
knows
about.
talking about. So we'll get that up on the screen, and as we do, then we will join. If you want to join us and pray that, you can pray it out loud if you're by yourself, or I guess I'm going to
So
put
do
it
you
in a
have
minute. Yeah.
Read.
Oh yeah, we've got it everywhere. I think he's got it on here.
Okay.
You putting it up? There it is.
Okay.
All right. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Wow. And if you're in a 12-step meeting, they say, just for today. Wow. Keep coming back.
You do have to. I think you do have to remind yourself of that every day. Of every day, you have to
Every
remind
day.
yourself
Every
of
day,
that.
yeah.
Because every day you need the wisdom that
Yes.
God can give you to make decisions in your life. Because you never know what you're faced with day to day. And
So
for some people,
why-
it's really hard.
Why is the Serenity Prayer so attached to the 12-step program?
Well,
you know?
I would
You know?
say, I've been involved with 12-step programs, and I would say because the having to accept the things that you can't change, so many people in 12-step programs think they have to control everything. And most of us, our lives are out of control, and we think we're actually in control. It talks about our lives being out of control and unmanageable. So we want to control everything, but yet we can't.
I think some of it too is they can't forget their past. And they're very like, well, if I was already this, I can be no better, I can be no good. So I can't change who I am. That's where they kind of stick their mindset can go there so easily when you're an addict. That I can't change that. Well, it's telling you, no, you have to accept those things that you can't change. You can move forward and make a good decision today.
Right.
It's always about a good decision today and a new decision with anything.
My 2 cents on the Serenity Prayer is pointing out what you can change, which is what most people don't want to change, is myself. And especially if you're talking about the 12 steps, but it's the truth. I don't care if you're in 12 steps or not. You cannot control anybody. You cannot control your husband. You cannot control your children. You can lead them, guide them as far as your children, and we have a responsibility as parents, but especially once they hit 18.
Right.
Right?
Well, there's people that, well, of course, we minister all over the world and get to talk to a lot of people. And I've seen people who have lived abusive lifestyles.
Right.
I mean, just you couldn't even imagine. Yet they've found a way to let God change their life, and they got out of that, mindset and that cycle, so it doesn't
But
happen
that
in
was
their
still
life.
them
That was
changing
them.
them.
Changing them.
Them
But
changing
then you
them.
see that person
Right.
that can't seem to get out of their I can't get out of my childhood. I can't move past my childhood.
Right.
Well, they stay stuck. And when they're stuck
That's
and
it.
they don't try to change themselves because they're too busy thinking, I wish my dad would have been something else. I
Right.
wish my mom would have been something else. Then they're stuck in a lifestyle of either depression, sometimes all of it, depression, alcoholism, drug addiction, or the sins of their father, as they would say.
Exactly.
So
Iniquities. Mhm.
That's about changing yourself.
Right.
Exactly.
Agree.
Well, in so much of that, when you're raised in dysfunction and you are raised with abuse, it changes who you are. And you lose touch with your true self, your God-given self, because you're living in this dysfunction and you have to survive as a child. So you create these defenses that are called character defects as adults. But you, in order to survive, you have to defend yourself against the defects of those in your life. So until you are aware that this is even an issue, so many people they're stuck in it because they don't even understand where it's coming from. So that's why I love the 12-step programs. I think everybody could benefit from it. I'd love to have our CR director here locally come on and talk about it, because they talk about your hurts, habits, and hang-ups. Everybody has a hurt, habit, or hang-up. So I believe, and that's why the Serenity Prayer is so great, because it's so broad. It covers so many people. I mean, every day I pray this prayer for
And
myself.
Can I just throw out there that I was raised in a missionary's home, Pentecostal, Assembly of God, whatever, just God. Our solution was you go to the altar, you get saved, you go to the altar, you get prayed for. If you think about doing something bad, you go to the altar and get prayed. then next Sunday, that's what Sunday nights were for. Then you go next Sunday night and you get prayed for again. And I remember dating my husband, and my father-in-law, Laverne Tripp, has an amazing testimony of being delivered from drugs and alcohol. 12 steps is what he still works program. So I remember being in my husband's to-be home. Him and his brother lived together. And I seen the 12-step book up on the mantle. And I had a funny feeling, almost like seeing a witchcraft book or something, like what is that? Because it was up there with the Bible. Yeah. And it's like, that's a little odd. I didn't know anything about it. And it has helped me learn just what I have learned. I really haven't attended many 12-step meetings or anything, but I've certainly, believe me, if you're in the Tripp family, you're going to hear about the 12 steps. But everybody, we are a work in process, and I think we're the church, at least that brand of the church those years ago. Yes, you commit your life to the Lord, but you have to change the way you think.
Yes.
You have to change the way you think.
That is so true. And that's what the Serenity Prayer is about, too.
See, that's what that's why I'm bringing it
wisdom.
to, yes.
That's where the wisdom comes in.
Then there's that guilt and condemnation. You were raised similar, right? In that style of thinking, at least, and then if you think about something bad, you're going straight to hell.
Right.
Right?
So you do hit the
In a
altar.
And you hit the altar again and going to hell in a handbasket. That's right. But I don't care who you are, what kind of church you go to or not, you're going to have to change the way you think.
Yeah.
If you are not going to be an addict, right? Or an abuser, or both.
Or both.
Or how about just depressed?
or codependent.
Codependent. What
do a
is
whole
codependent?
show on that one,
What is
y'all.
codependent? Let's talk about that for just
Crazy,
one
but-
quick second. Hey, Miss Edna's watching.
I know a lot of people.
Hey. Hey, Matthew
Lawson
Lawson.
is watching. Okay. So what is codependent? Just real quickly in a nutshell. Do you know what codependent is?
Well, I mean, I know a lot of people I feel are codependent. Whether I'm
I
right
would
about
dare
it.
say you lived codependent for a lot of years of your life.
I think I did. Well, to me, someone who's codependent has to have someone that needs something from them, so they feel like they almost have a savior complex. They're so busy fixing somebody else, they don't fix themselves. They're codependent on that person to be there in their life. Once that person is ripped away, they're devastated without that or that group of
Right.
people.
Unless you got stronger.
Unless you have
and
a
broke
stronger
away that way.
right?
Yeah.
But I think the codependency is I have to have this approval. I have to have somebody care about me. I have to have somebody tell me they love me. I have to have somebody.
But doesn't codependency keep you in a marriage with
It
someone
also-
who
Right.
is not faithful to the marriage?
It keeps yes.
technically.
Codependency
See?
for me,
Yeah.
it was basically definitely in my DNA.
Yeah.
But I stayed with a man for 16 years that I knew was not faithful to me.
Wow.
But I was very faithful to him in I don't want to lose you. I don't want to be alone. And I don't want to go back to a life of depending on anyone else. I think it should
But
be this way.
technically,
I thought
wasn't
it was
that-
okay to depend on him because that's
he's
how
your
the-
husband, right?
He's my husband.
But for him to emotionally do that to, or physically do that, but that was abuse to you.
But it was
Yeah.
abuse
That's
to me
abuse if
that
you
I
knew
didn't
it.
even realize.
See? Exactly.
I mean, I went back into that marriage. I was 2 years in when he first time that it happened.
Oh my goodness.
And all the red flags were out there before I ever married him. They tell me that, and this is, okay, he was a young man too. So he was also a broken man that needed, we both should have had
But
counseling.
see, if he would have prayed the Serenity Prayer,
right.
right?
Right. If we would have
And
lived our
you
life
did.
by that.
Yeah.
And we did go into counseling when we first got back into, and a counselor basically talked me into going back into a relationship with him because they said, oh, if it's bad for you here, this is just a cycle that's in your family. It'll be bad with anybody else. You got to fix it where you're at.
That's
Which
right.
in a way,
Okay.
I get it. Yeah.
All right.
But you would have to actually put effort into that, both of you, to fix it. And I think what we
Right.
did is put a bandage over it and moved on like it should be okay. And I ignored signs. I ignored things that were
Yeah.
happening. And he did have a lot of things that even in his childhood he never dealt with that I wished he would have dealt with. And I think that was some of the problems that made him go out for approval of anybody else. It wasn't so much that he didn't love me or care about me, whether I don't know sometimes whether he did or not. I look back now at pictures and I'm like, well, there was some point he did. But he did not love himself. He did not love.
Well, that's why he had to go out and find
Right.
other sources.
other
because
sources.
you weren't feeding him enough.
Right. Because I got into being mom, and all my attention
Oh, yeah.
was going to be mom. I
Yeah.
wasn't giving
Yeah.
him the attention.
Yeah.
I was giving them the attention.
Yeah,
And
so
he needed it from somewhere, so he went somewhere else. And I was just as much to blame in that part. But I also stayed in something where I asked for help, for him to help. Let's go to counseling. And he was like, well, I don't think we need it, or it's okay. And but it just fell apart. Of course, the ultimate was that he left me for someone else, but pretty much fell
So
apart.
maybe bad
right
example.
There.
Yeah.
Well, he did try to come back, but that's what people who are broken do. Like, they don't know where they belong. They
Yeah.
don't know what's going on in there. They don't know how to fix what's empty inside them.
Well,
I
people
see
who
the
are
serenity
narcissists,
prayer,
you can put
Yeah.
it that way.
But
too.
the serenity prayer
Yeah.
points you to changing what you can. That's
And
what
that
I'm
is
saying.
yourself.
And even when your ex-husband was stepping out on you, what you could change was only yourself.
yeah.
Right.
The end.
Right.
The
But I
end.
was too busy at a lot of times saying, I wish he was being this
Making
to me. I wish
excuses
he
for
was
him.
being that
Yeah.
to
Or being the
me.
victim.
I'm trying to be the victim. Yes, I'm doing everything I can. I'm having dinner on the table. I'm doing everything with the kids. I'm letting him
Yeah.
go have his little hobbies, which I didn't know were not just airplanes. Because your mind, especially if you're comfortable in being taken care of, we weren't well off by any means. But I don't know if anybody thinks that I have to have lots. I don't. I'm very much a minimalist. I'm fine. I had a little 800 square foot cabin out in the woods, and that was fine with me. That and my children and knowing I could stay home with them every day, I was comfortable in
Yeah.
that. So I let things pass. I learned.
Well, people stay in situations like that because at least I know this crazy.
That's true.
Oh, exactly.
At least I know this
Familiarity.
hell. I know where all the potholes are.
And you
I
feel
know
like
where
you
the
deserve
curves
it.
are. I know, I know every nook and cranny about it. And, for me, I view, people who have codependency in relationships, they're basically a worshiper of that relationship. They have made that relationship, that person, their God. Right. And they will do anything and go to any lengths to keep
God
it.
or their drug.
Or their drug, yeah. And it is a drug. And I think their drug is hopium more than it is
Hopium, yeah.
hopium. That they
pretty
keep
good.
hoping that things will change, hoping
yeah.
things will get better. If I just do better, if I just, work out more and get prettier and have sex better and do this and that, everything's going to get better.
Yeah, you do
well,
think that.
honey, it normally don't. So, anyway, so let's back to the Serenity Prayer.
Yeah.
well, we
Well,
can't
I will say
change
one thing
that.
about that. It was like when what did happen to me, I was devastating.
Of
I mean,
course.
like,
Yes.
okay,
saying
I
it
didn't
shouldn't
see
be,
the
of
signs.
course,
I thought
right.
everything had changed. But when I go back after, I could see the signs, but not while I was in it,
Right.
because I was too busy ignoring those. Because,
In
like you
denial.
said, I was in denial.
'Cause it's too painful
but
to
when
look
it
at.
was ripped
Yeah.
away from me, I was so devastated. I was suicidal. I was that depressed.
Wow.
It was my children that made me hold on, and I fell to my knees in a prayer, and I heard God say, "Make me your husband." And that was really for the first time ever. Make me your husband, and I will give you the desires of your heart, and have a plan for you that you cannot fathom. And that totally happened when I decided to actually make God my husband. And you young girls, if you're out there and you're single, and I try to tell my daughters this all the time, please make him your husband first. Because if you make him your husband, you'll make better decisions on who you date, who you have in your life. Because, if somebody's got to match up to God, they got to be pretty good. Now, nobody's as perfect as God, but you've got to have a godly man that loves God and themselves enough to love you. Because if they're broken and they don't love themselves, they can't love you. And that was my mistake. We got together very young. He was very broken. I was very broken. Two broken people got together, and they stayed together and tried
Lot
to make it
spills
work.
out.
And this is what happens. And we didn't try to really let God fix things like that. But it's not to say that if that happens to you, God can't fix things, because he did for me. He deleted. I actually have a song that says that he fixed it for me.
Linda Holt just commented, you can waste your whole life playing that game.
Totally.
Oh, yeah.
Is that not the truth?
Yes.
So
my
true.
parents
Oh, my
were married
goodness.
for 20 years before they divorced.
Wow.
Yeah.
So definitely, but yet now they're very best friends. Like they're good friends, not best
Really?
friends, good friends.
Wow.
Like brother or sister. You would almost think
Really?
that they're. Yeah, my dad comes to the holidays.
Wow.
With his wife.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And it's almost they've known each other since they were 14 and 16.
Well,
But
I used
God
to-
had to heal that. But I prayed for that because
Yeah.
I'm like, God, I don't want to go one place and then go
Yeah.
one place.
Yes. Yeah.
Please heal my family, because I knew that there was a love for each other there that was deep, a godly love for each other, a caring love. Please heal that. And he did. And they can be around each other, no problem. They really literally are like a brother and sister
Yeah.
more.
well, I grew up calling my dad's ex-wife my aunt. So, you know,
Wow.
just saying.
Okay.
It must
So-
be the South. I don't
Yeah,
know.
well, she was at everything too.
Weston just commented, I am a great husband. I have no flaws. I'll just leave that right there. Let Christy comment.
I said nobody could be as perfect as God, but he can make somebody pretty great for you, and he did me. I will say that.
So, you know, a lot of people have different versions of the Serenity Prayer. And I wanted to read this one. I pray to accept with a sincere mind the things I cannot change, knowing it is futile to be obstinate about the inevitable. I pray to be resolute to take action in things that must be changed. And that's it. You have to take action with the things. You can't just sit
So
there
you got to
and
make
say,
a decision on what must be changed.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you
Even
can only change yourself.
You know something you said? You said, I knew I had to change me. In that you said, I take it different, that I have to change or I can change. Well, not only can you change you can help change circumstances for other people. And when you do that, because I see that in your life, you do that to help you. Like that's a part of you that's like, it seems like that's who you are. Because you feel like you're whole if you're helping other people.
True.
And I think there's a lot of people that sit back and they want to do that, but they don't think they can do that. But it takes an effort. You have to step out and actually do it. And you can't even imagine what it does for your life to help fulfill the lives of others, to give them, feed the hungry, give clothing,
Because
do
there's
all
joy
these
in
things.
giving.
There's joy
and
in
it's
giving.
an antidepressant. To
It
the
is.
max.
It
I'm just
totally
telling
is.
you, it is.
That's
For
what I'm trying
anybody.
to say. Is like
For anybody.
I know even in my family there is a depression that goes on in my family that they just sit there. And they have a calling on their life to not sit there. They have I know
we
that
all
they do.
though.
Right.
We all do. Yes.
And they could be out just ministering and doing all kinds of things because they have the heart to do that. But their circumstances that they've let take hold of them have kept them sitting where they're at. And it's a shame. So if you feel like that's you, just step out and do what God's called you to do, because that can change a lot of
But
things.
pain is paralyzing.
It is.
It is.
It totally is.
When, I don't care if it's a dramatic exercise or you stump your toe, what do? That's what you do, right?
true.
Pain is paralyzing. So that's where a lot of times, that's where you have to make the decision to change.
Well, and I will say this. So many people have lived in pain for so long that they learn how to tolerate pain. Well, it's not about a comfort thing for some people. It's they've literally learned they know nothing else. So they learn how to tolerate it to the point where they don't even acknowledge the pain anymore. They can become so disassociated with their feelings that if they close their eyes and that you put a key in their hand, they couldn't tell you it's a key in their hand. That's how deep and thick this thing can go.
Well, I mean, I guess I have an example. I went to the doctor not long ago, and I had a really, really bad ear infection. Well, I have a birth defect in my ears that actually caused me to lose almost 60% of my hearing.
Wow.
And so
And you sing as good as you do.
they said, he looked at my ears. He goes, oh my gosh. He said, we have to do something about your ears. Your alarm bells are not going off anymore. Because I didn't even realize I had one because I had scar tissue over scar tissue over scar tissue. I didn't feel it. I don't feel the pain anymore. Sometimes I'd feel like an ache or a pain, but I'm so used to it. I think I felt the
Yeah.
pain, but I'm used to it. So I'm so used to it.
Just
I'm like,
life.
it's just life for
Right.
me. Yeah. And that is a good example of what you're saying. That's where they're at, and
That's it.
their alarm bells aren't going off. This is
Yeah.
not where I need to be in my life.
Exactly.
Which is why it's important to fellowship with other people and other people of like faith, or maybe what you would like to be like, because then you are exposed to a better life and you can realize, hey, maybe my life isn't normal.
Right. You need a new window.
You need a new window, which is why we set out to do amazing things for foster care children at Christmas time. And I have struggled so many times, and I'm like, it doesn't really make a difference to do this one day of amazing stuff. But we're giving them a window into what life should be like for them all the time.
Yes.
And it gives them a sense of value. So that's a child, but for a spouse, a wife, don't be hanging around people that, you know, they're getting beaten and their husbands are shacking up with someone else as well. You need to hang out with something, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't be with people that are saying, oh, well,
That's
you
just
know,
how it is.
That's just how life
Or
is.
all you little girls get molested. No, they don't.
No.
All dads molest their children.
No, they
don't. And I have had people say that to me, and I'm like,
No, that's not true.
no, that is not true, but it's because their reality
Right.
has been that way
It could
so
be their
long.
Family, surrounding family.
That's all
surrounding
they've ever
friends.
seen.
That's
Yeah.
all they've ever heard.
That is
they've
not
swept
true.
it under the rug. It's okay. You just
Yes.
deal with it.
That's
and
right.
You're a good person if you deal
That's
with
right.
it. You're
Oh.
a strong person if you deal
If
with
you
it.
deal
And you're
with it.
really a good person if you stay quiet about
Right.
it.
Totally.
Exactly.
Totally.
Yeah.
That's
So that's a whole nother show too.
Whole nother show.
So we need to be taking notes on these show topics, y'all. We did ask our viewers a question, and let's read some of their responses to the question. The question was, what are some things in your life that you've had to accept that you can't change? So I will pass this over to
I would
you.
love to say my weight, but that's
Yeah.
not true.
because we can't
Sadly.
change that.
Yeah.
And I'll let you start us
okay.
out.
I'm
there.
gonna speak for Matthew Lawson. He's a good friend of ours.
Okay.
He actually was over last night, and he commented. He said, "It isn't popular, but grace, real grace, not greasy grace,
Greasy Grace. That's a new one.
that kind that helps you believe God, even when what you see does not line up with what He says." It's true trust. It does trust. You do have to trust. You have to trust that God He has you in His hand and He knows what He's doing. Here's Margie Latch. There's a difference between what I cannot change and what only God can change. When I come up against something that only God can change, I pray for wisdom on the subject, and then I pray according to what He tells me to pray. I'm not one that thinks ever, she put in parentheses, that something cannot change. Where people and their free will is concerned, I draw rest from putting them in the hands of God, knowing that if they refuse even His efforts to bring change, then He will give me a supernatural sense of rest and peace on the subject. He will give me what I need to be able to let it go. But even there, it's not that things can't be changed. It is the people who choose to refuse to change. I live, all things are possible every day of my life. I hope that helps.
Amen.
Yeah.
That was great. That was great, Margie.
And you know what? Another version of the prayer is, God grant me the serenity to accept the people that I cannot change. The courage to change the one I can, and the wisdom to know that one is me. You know, because, you know, people live their whole life, you know, trying to change people. I know women who have gotten married and their goal was just to, I mean, they changed the way they dress.
I know he's like that, but he'll change.
He'll
I
change.
can change him.
Yeah, I can convert
Never
him.
will that ever work.
Yeah, never. And, you know, accepting things that you cannot change. You know, some of our viewers shared, like Dodie, she shared, I have to learn to give everything to God, and the one thing I can't change is the loss of my daughter. And I had to learn it was His will, His plan, and I asked for His guidance and understanding, and holding on to my faith in Him is how she gets through it. Crystal also had lost her son, and that was one thing that, you know, she's having a hard time accepting, you know, and I've never lost a child, but, you know, any sort of loss in your life that was not, that was something that was ripped from you or taken from you, unexpected, that's a hard thing to accept.
It's way hard. I don't think that anybody would fault anybody for going through a phase of
course.
anger. I think that's part of grief. Is
It
anger.
is. Oh,
I mean,
sure.
I've driven down the road and I know Uncle Larry's not going to come over to the house, and I'm like, God, I don't understand when there's so many bad people you have to take.
Right.
in.
Why don't you take the real raunchy ones?
Yeah, exactly.
But you know, you do that, but I can't even fathom losing a child.
No.
I can't even go there. I can't even think about it. But I think that I think the only way I could cope is through God.
Yeah.
That is the only way is to let him change whatever's emotions going on.
But even
me.
in that, you can allow bitterness and say, be mad at God and hate God the rest of your life, and no one would question you for doing that because it's the unthinkable. But yet, the only thing you can actually change
Is your
is
mind.
yourself and the way you think. And then turn around and help someone else, especially in that situation,
what I've
because they're
seen.
to find victory in those horrible situations is when, wow, you want the prayer worked, you know?
Have you ever
Right.
seen
Right?
like there'll be a child gone missing, and you know, like
makes
the
my-
Amber
makes me
Alert,
sick
for
to my
example.
stomach every
The
time I
Amber
think
Alert.
about
I
it.
remember when
Yeah.
that happened way back when I was actually pregnant, and I, of course, emotional. So when all
Right,
that was
yeah,
going on,
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just
yeah.
like, "Whoa."
Yeah.
I can't imagine. But that mother took that loss and moved,
Yeah.
you know, heaven and earth to get a bill passed, so that when children
Exactly.
are missing,
That's right.
they sound an alert,
Yeah.
which has helped find so many children.
many
fast.
children. That's
it's,
right.
It's when that person is moved to help someone else, and it does. They don't just let all that
Just sit
anguish
there.
sit there
Or what
and
about the
destroy
guy,
them.
America's
Oh,
Most Wanted guy?
Yes,
His little boy.
Adam.
Adam, yes.
yes.
I mean, what a difference that man.
Yeah.
I can't think of the dad's name.
What did he say?
That's right, John Walsh. Exactly, John Walsh.
So it was Adam Wash that went.
That's
yeah.
right. That's
well,
right.
and the Mothers Against Drug Driving. The
There
same
you go,
thing.
Matt.
So
Mhm.
it's
That's
taking,
it.
putting purpose to your pain.
Yep.
Find the purpose to your pain, and that comes only by accepting that you can't change what happened. It happened. You know, was it right? Was it good? No. Did it hurt? Yes. It stinks. It hurts
Yep.
daily. I can't even imagine the pain. But find a purpose in your pain. You
and
know,
we just had a comment come through that says forgiveness was number one for me. I was with a very abusive husband, and he caused injuries that I still have to this day. Wow.
Wow.
So do you see though, that's a choice. I cannot make you forgive anybody.
No.
I could hit you, beat you, put a gun to your head, whatever. I can't make you.
No.
I also can't make you have hope.
No, you can't.
I can't. That's a personal decision. It doesn't matter if you're in a dungeon, a prison cell, a cancer ward. No one can make you do that. It is
No.
a decision between your own two ears,
That's
which
right.
goes back to the only thing you can change. And yes, like I believe it was Margie Latch who said, hey, I'm right there. I believe for the impossible, God can do anything. But
Sometimes you have to let it go. Let God.
I can't put my hands on it. Through prayer and all these different things, of course, and you see miraculous things happen. But none of it will ever come because I made it happen.
That's right.
Exactly.
Well, and how many prayers don't get answered? You know, I love Garth Brooks' song, you
Yeah,
know, thank
sometimes I
God
thank
for
God.
unanswered prayers.
Yes, I can testify to that. Yes.
And, you know, we may not understand
At the time.
God, why isn't this miracle coming?
Right.
Why didn't that miracle happen? Why did this person die? Why did this marriage fall apart or whatever? But the thing about it is, we cannot understand. We are such three-dimensional, finite-minded creatures
Right.
in comparison to an infinite, like multi-dimensional God. We can't, and we may not ever understand it until the next life. So acceptance
Surrender is what we can.
Yes, surrender is what we
Surrender
can
is what
do.
we
I think
can
that's
do.
what it's called. It's called the Serenity Prayer
That's
for a
right.
reason.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and the serenity
You're
is
right.
a peace.
A
Give
peace.
me a peace.
You can
in
have
it.
peace if you let it go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't let it go, you'll never have
You'll
peace.
never have peace.
That's
You'll
right.
never have. If you never accept it, you'll never have peace.
That's right. And dealing, though, with a loss, a child, a spouse, saying let it go, though, sounds so
It sounds like, oh, how can I do that?
harsh.
Yeah.
You know? And what we're saying is the unforgiveness,
Yeah.
The hurt,
the hurt,
the bitterness that can
the bitterness that
torture
can
you.
grow up. That's right.
that can
Yeah.
torture
That's
you.
right. We're
It's
not saying let
about-
that child go or that
No,
memory or anything like that.
Especially if it was injustice
It's not about
or
the
Yes.
anything
loss.
like that.
You will
no,
never
don't ever
ever
do
get
that.
over that loss.
No.
No, especially, I mean, your child,
Right.
your spouse you love
Yes.
forever and ever. You're
And
never
they're
gonna
forever a
get-
part of who you
yes,
are.
You're never going to get over that. The letting go is that when that bitterness and
Yes.
anger starts to change you. When it
Yeah.
starts actually changing
That's right.
who
Who
you
you
are.
are for the bad.
For the bad. And
Yeah.
but when it change when the you know something comes up in you and say, I have to put myself into something to help. Well, like Aunt Jana right now, going through the loss of Uncle Larry, she has friends that have gone through loss. What's helping her get through is those friends calling her and saying, how are you today?
Yeah.
You'll get through this. It's going to be hard. This next few
doubt.
months is going to be real hard. You know, you're never going to get over the loss, but you're going to make it. So they help her. She tells me, they help me, just encourage me to hold on.
Yeah.
I mean, she knew Uncle Larry from the time she was 14,
yeah.
but started dating him at like 15. They've been together, and not typical couple together. We're talking together because they didn't work jobs where they were separate.
As my
They were
husband says, their name was one syllable, Larry and
it,
Jana.
it
Yeah,
really was. And so
yeah.
it does help. So if you are in that place that you can give a word to someone else and encourage them, you'll get through this because I made it through this.
Yeah.
But that's a choice
that's-
to make
that's
it
a
through on
choice
your
you
own.
make.
And that's a
Yeah.
purpose in their pain.
That's
They're
right.
taking their pain and helping someone else. And
That's
I believe
right.
that is what we're all called to do.
And again, so just pivoting back to our original giveaway.
Yes.
We're giving away the Serenity Journal.
Yes, it's a
Serenity
prayer
Prayers
journal.
If you'll like and share this show, maybe you know someone who's suffered loss or suffered, abuse, pain. Some people, hey, you just think you're fat and ugly. I mean, you just
think
got
that's
internal
your-
problems.
That's your
yeah.
pain.
That was my pain.
Yeah.
When I was
I
like
mean-
15, I was skinnier than now. But now I don't worry about it like I did then.
Me and my daughter have talked about it, and this again, no time. But have you ever watched these shows, The Hoarder, The 600-Pound Person, all this? It always goes back to some sort of abuse, So then, if you're overweight, it's like, okay, what's wrong with me? Did my dad mistreat me? Is my husband, and I'm like, oh, I don't have that excuse. I think I
because-
just like food, So that's hard.
your addiction.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's really hard to accept that it may be my own fault,
Yeah.
right? So maybe
Yeah.
you're one of those people, or maybe you actually know somebody. I'm just trying to say this is not just about someone who's lost a loved one, but the Serenity Prayer. If you're interested in the journal, like and share, tag someone, let them know.
Maybe you want to give it to somebody.
Yeah, give it to somebody. All right. Well, this has been a fantastic show.
Great.
Last week we did a big giveaway here in Middle
Huge,
Tennessee. The
yes.
reason why we did it is because the foster care system had reached out to us saying that school supplies and shoes for children
Yeah.
is a gigantic need, even for foster care children. So we put this whole effort together. We normally just have we call it a character experience, where we do a dinner and we have characters such as Disney or
And that's four
Sonic
times a week.
Hedgehog, yeah, all this stuff. We do
every
it once. We do a dinner one night a week for a month, the month of July. That's what we've always done. Because of COVID, we reduced it down and did one big night, but we added the school supply
Yes.
giveaway and the shoes giveaway. So I think we have a video. We want to say a big thank you to everyone who helped us, who
Yes,
worked, who
donated.
volunteered, donated funds, donated the actual school supplies. And so let's watch this video, and then we'll come back and talk about it. All right. That was so awesome. And y'all,
So
here was
fun.
one big problem. We ran out of stuff.
Yes, we
like
did.
in what?
Within the first hour.
Yeah. We had people lined up for 2 hours before. So that's how great the need is. And so things like that are what we do as much as we can. We're going to be gearing up for Christmas. So thank you to everyone who served, volunteered. Yours truly right here was Wonder Woman. Or maybe we shouldn't tell that. Did you not know this is Wonder
Diana.
Woman? Anyway, so if you want to be a part of what we are doing, you can always go online, loveformusiccity.org,
Yes.
and make a donation. If you're a business owner and you would like to give us something that we can help promote your business and we can give away something free, especially just make sure there's enough for everybody, if you know what I mean. So especially if something we like, right? Makeup,
yeah,
jewelry,
absolutely.
that kind of thing, haircut,
Like,
massage.
Craftastics with Brett made me this
Yes.
great cup and gave
Yes.
it to me.
So thank you. So thank you. And next week, again, who are we going to have? Scotty
Nell
Nils
Hughes will be here with us next.
And why don't you tell where you're going to be Friday night, Pensacola, Florida?
Yeah.
Are going to be at Pensacola. I know, I turned it on, but it's late. Okay.
Hey.
Mic back on. We are going to be in Pensacola, Florida. Can you help me, babe, with where we're going to be?
She don't know where she's going to be, but she's
gonna
going to
be
be in
somewhere
Pensacola,
about-
Florida.
Actually, if you just go to the Henson Family
There you go.
Facebook page, we posted we're going to be with the Easters there. So it's going to be a great time. And another, the Carter family. So please join us if you're going to be in the area. If not, we may actually do our live from there if I can get an okay from
Oh,
the
yeah.
pastor. So,
that'd
because
be
we
great.
usually do a Friday night live. So we actually may go live there that
That's
night.
awesome.
We'll see.
Well, y'all, thank you so much again. If you want to be a part of what we're doing, you can always go to loveformusiccity.org. Thank you to those of you who have liked and shared even today's show.
Yes.
I
You
don't
are
know. Do
entered
we
to
need to
win.
say the Serenity Prayer again, or what do we need to do here? We're going to give away the journal.
Yes.
Inbox us to the winner today. Get your address so we can send you out that backpack. And I guess,
Yeah.
is that
I think that's it
as
for today. Yeah.
Bugs Bunny used to say, that's all, folks?
That's all. And I don't know how to
Blah,
do
blah,
it.
blah,
Weston
blah.
would
I
have to
can't
do
do
it.
it.
No,
Yeah.
I'm gonna,
Okay.
I
All
just
right.
know Elmer Fudd.
All right. So you
Wesley
guys, we'll
Wabbit.
see you next Wednesday right here on hashtag Girl Sessions Love for Music City Live with our
Thank
special
you
guest,
for watching.
Scotty Nell Hughes. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.